I'll see it if that doesn't. You should probably see a blinking red light on.
Okay. Yeah, it said.
Okay, so I just remind me.
Who's this? Your high CPU? Did you see that splash?
No.
Your high CPU usage is affecting this meeting or something like that. I presume that was you.
I wonder if when I hit the video, did it? I didn't see it here. Yeah, we've got to meet. I did hear back from Tufts. Very interesting. Yeah, I sent you that. I was wondering if you had seen it. He really didn't get back to me until yesterday, and
I didn't see that he got back to you. I saw your note to him.
Yeah, no, he hadn't gotten back, and I'm looking at this. Oh, you know what I should have done? Well, I'm not going to do it now. I'll run a test. I have 2,000 by 3,000 pixels across. Oh,
okay.
Is the file huge when I save this video? I should have sized it differently. Okay, so we have everything here, right? You're seeing this. These are kind of like my notes. I didn't put a lot of graphics up there, and I'm going to go over to Hank and see if I can find. God, there were so many threads on this one, huh? 21 threads or something like that. Oh, okay, that's. Okay, these were Hank's notes in red. I don't know if did you get this one? It's okay. You don't have to. That's what tonight is all about. If it's just it's all of us. That's Hank had gone down the different costs, and Ken said X, Y, and Z. So I just recapitulated it and said Hank is in red, Ken is in blue, and of course my thoughts were in black, and that's where I'm at now. But and let me just see. I booted this all up. How was? Did you go out of state? You went to a friend's funeral? Yeah. Was it out of state?
Maine, West Point.
Oh, West Point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Somebody younger than me.
But that's not good, isn't it? You know, I mean, it's not. I don't want to know this. I don't want to hear it. Let's see. I just got an email from Hank, so I'm guessing he'll be here.
Well, Did you see that Hank is on? It looks like he's on.
He's on? Hank, you're there?
His name.
What? I don't see his name. Why am I not seeing his name? Remote control, annotate. Four participants. Okay, Hank, Fred, and is that you calling from?
Yeah.
That may be you calling in. I just put this information on the screen. I'm not sure. You probably can't see this little white square with my face and your name and Hank's name. It's probably part of Zoom that they don't choose not to show you. I see Hank's icon just said. Hank, are you there? Can you hear us? Did you see that picture I sent of my granddaughter or this I'm gonna wait a few minutes. I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna probably put yeah.
Andover.
Yeah, look at this.
I didn't see her, no.
Look at this.
I thought that. That was Santa Claus and the reindeer.
Really? Yeah. Yeah. Well, could have been. I know. Let me slide this up here.
Not where you'd expect to see the Milky Way.
No, it was. But you know, there is that new feature or a revised feature in Photoshop that
Talk about it. I
yeah.
haven't looked at it yet.
And this is another one. You know what? I'm looking for my mouse. Okay, we'll just wait a minute or two. How's Steve doing?
He's okay. He's good.
Yeah, good. Pretty
It's
cool.
just you and me.
Yeah, and I don't know where Hank is. I don't know why. Is he choosing not to chime in?
How could he sign in and not? Hey, Hank.
Hank, can you hear us?
No.
I'm gonna. I'll go to the email and ask him if he has trouble getting in or doesn't want to talk to us. I'll pull this down here. Is next Monday the White Light Group?
Yes.
Yeah. Hank, online meetup. He said he was here. One more.
So you know, you may not have given people enough notice.
Yeah. Okay.
Testing.
Testing. I hear you.
You hear me?
Yeah. Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear us?
I can hear you fine.
I can hear you. Can you hear Hank?
I can hear him.
Testing.
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right.
Is that okay?
It's okay.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I know it might have been. I was just gonna text you and email you and I was. Yeah, I thought it might have been a short notice, but I did hear from Ken. He's got. He said patience tonight. I don't know. It's just long hours. Hank, I don't get it. I think you and I kind of bailed out a long time ago.
Yeah.
But you know, he starts at 5 o'clock, and then I got a call from Len, who was at a meeting, an email, and he asked if I recorded. So you can probably see something flashing up there. I am recording this, so please don't go get yourself in trouble with Al Franken and the rest of the boys.
Wow.
Oh God! All right. So. All right. Well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put this up, and
why don't you do a dry run, and then I think offer it to people again another time.
Sure, I will, and I just may show up, or you can offer it to them again, just saying, hey, it was a lot of if you think the information was good. You know, you can just say, hey, listen, it's worthwhile, and if they can agree on a time, chances are really good. I can probably meet their time. Hank. You answered, you know, I wrote this email and you had responded back with some storage costs and everything, and I did a little more looking into it. It's funny because simultaneously with me trying to write a blog, I've really been cleaning up my website and moving it from one server to another, and so it's really good. I'm focusing on a lot of things, and so I think that's pretty good. And but I was working on this blog post, and then the email came along. I'm gonna go down here. This email came along, and then wasn't that crazy? After these emails, that was the day that Tim Gray talked about. Did you happen to see that post, Hank?
I saw you mention it. I didn't.
Look at this.
Yeah, actually, now Adobe released it before Tim Gray, and he just followed up on it. But
what on files in Carbonite and backing up online?
No, I'm talking about the Adobe download.
Oh, God, everybody's going on that. But look at this. This was on November 15th. I said, good morning, folks. Not sure how many of you folks subscribe to Tim Gray's newsletter or believe in Kismet, but I can't believe
What did he say about carbon? Because it took me probably a month and a half, I think,
well,
to get everything carbonized.
I like his approach. You know, he gives an overview, and then there is the quick answer, and then there's one in more detail. And someone said a few years ago I tried using carbonite, you know, and but it runs all the time. And should he try it again? And he gave his thoughts on, and I highlighted it in yellow, you know, well, he says, yeah, give it another try. And then he went in more detail, uploading a significant amount of data, potentially over a relatively slow connection. And I think Hank addressed that. So, and today what I try to do is capitulate all of that and figured I could either try to explain it from what I think, hear what you guys think, whether you have wants or needs. And so let me just go over my prepared thing. Your thoughts, questions, needs, whatever. If you make don't make any knots. Let's make a note. If you make any notes if I stir anything up or you come with it. But my thoughts before or during the White Light Group email and Tim Gray's, you know, post that day is, you know, the thought was, what service, you know, would you use? We have 20 gigabytes with Adobe, and what do you want to store on the clouds and on the cloud besides your photos? What type? How many, and how do you even manage them? And so under this, it says, what file format? And I'm going to answer this and then probably go, you know, and then we can have a little discussion. The question is, what file format and what cloud service? I like, let's hope both the service and the format will be here 20 years from now. On my blog post, I have a little story about I fixed up my great-grandfather's photo. It was taken in Sicily, and this is like in the late 80s, and I put it on a Bernoulli drive, and for the last 8 years, I've been trying to get somebody to take the TIFF file, which has been around forever, off a Bernoulli drive, which is...
Oh, really?
Yeah, just nobody can read the Bernoulli drive, you know, and a real good friend says, oh, yeah, this isn't even a challenge. I'll get it back to you in a week. And Bill Wenzel was unable to get it back, and he kind of like, I said, Bill, I have no shot if you can't get it back. But so one of the things we need to think about is, what are we going to do? And by God, will it be around in existence? And how do we keep the latest version on the cloud? Because once we make a change, I don't, you know, you'd say, well, I'd never make a change to it, but my goodness, you know, all the different versions of Adobe Camera Raw that have come up, and better softwares and maybe more knowledge, et cetera, you may make a change. And if you make a change, how do you make sure that latest one is on the cloud? And what do you store? And I think I might have put this up here, but this is also a little research I did as part of this, me gathering information to write for the blog. I have 133,000 images in my database, and I have about 300 which are like portfolio, 4 stars or whatever it is. And I need to do more housekeeping. God knows I'm remiss. I'm probably a year and a half just editing all my files. But when I'm done, I'm sure that'll go to 500 easily. And then there was the thing about, okay, so what are portfolios and what are family portfolios? Because maybe that's a lower bar, but photos that, I love this, some of my family members now and in the future, who I don't even know yet, or may never know, who would want to look back to see their great-grandfathers, or uncles, or cousins' photos? So maybe there'd be another 500 to 700 more, which is a total of around 1,200 photos. And hang in there with me here, because if I'm, but my math says it's like 1%, right? So why am I going to put up? And you know exactly what I mean when I go to the grid and you and you see. Forget about the brackets, but this is my grandson's thing. I went through, I starred some of them, I flagged some of them. I just keep all the flags, and anything else that I didn't flag, I'm deleting. But Jesus, I wouldn't want to. This is 36 for this day, and 90 on this day, and 176 on this day that hasn't been cleaned up. So the question now becomes, if I have pictures that I really, really like, and pictures that I think my family may, who the hell knows, who cares? Someday we'll have to have either a cup of coffee, all of us, or maybe our next breakfast, or a hard drink, and say, what's wrong with our ego? Why do we even think we need to save these? Nobody cares. But I remember Paul saying, who's going to want to look at these pictures after I'm gone? And but that's a different question for a different time. But so it's only like 1% is what I may want, and there are other considerations that I'll address. Ken said, "Who is syncing, Hank, Freddie? Do we know anybody who is posting stuff on the cloud?"
Posting it or saving it?
Oh, saving to the cloud. I mean, you have Carbonite.
You mean the CC? Which cloud?
Well, no. That's what I'm going to try to clear up, because whether it's on a Google Drive, or whether it's on OneDrive, or whether it's on the Adobe Drive, or whether it's on Carbonite, right now, I think those are questions to be answered, and hopefully within the next 15 minutes, I'll get to that point. But so you have some sort of backup. Now we're talking cloud. We're not talking hard drive.
Right.
And Carbonite. So you have Carbonite watching all of your photos?
Yes.
And Hank, are you and I still magnetic only?
Just local hard drives.
Yeah, just local hard drive, for sure.
But I have probably 30,000 photos only.
Okay, well,
I get rid of them as fast as I possibly can.
Well, you're vicious with your with your editing, which is really good. You know,
30,000.
Yeah, well, we'll address that, because all 30,000. If they lost, I mean, who the hell cares? I mean, there's probably, you could think of some, but anyways, who is on the fence? These are Ken's questions, and why are they on the fence? Maybe we could answer that ourselves, because isn't it seem really overwhelming? I mean, just the thought of, I think we're pretty good ourselves about maybe backing up, and we know we're not great at backing up, but to put it on the cloud may seem insane. And how do we do all of that, and how do we think about that? And go ahead.
There are certain things that are discrete. You will never go back to. You will hardly ever go back into them. Anything you did professionally, you don't have to put on the cloud. You're never going to be actively using them. You're not going to be. I would think you're not going to be accessing them from a computer.
That's an interesting thing. Anything you did professionally, you don't no longer keep. I think if you don't keep it active. I really didn't have anything professional. Well, no, I know what you mean. You did a shoot for somebody, and they expect you to hang on to it.
And, well, no, you have. I think you make a copy. You have it somewhere on a hard drive. You have it, or or things that I had that were like that on C drive.
Yeah, I have an important one on a Bernoulli that I can't get up. But you know what? I think if people are, everybody's different. If somebody chooses to back up or not back up, that's their choice. I don't think it's their choice if they're professional. I think if they're taking money from somebody, I'm not sure somebody will call up in 10 years and say,
no, but do you need to, yes, you need to save it, but do you need to save it on the cloud?
Well, no, that's right. So the question is, which ones do we do? Yeah. And going to, you know, these are Ken's now. Ken says, well, how long will it take with thousands of images, and what are the downsides? I can't think of many downsides. Can anybody?
Pardon?
I can't think of any downsides. Can you, Hank?
Well, I think the only real downside, other than time, is you know, if you're paying for data transfer time.
Well, that's
data, you know, the acronym for phones. People are watching videos and stuff, and if you are data limited, it'd be very expensive.
Paying for time/data rates.
Yeah.
Not storage.
Well, storage is a separate issue. I mean,
yes, not so much because that's fixed, huh?
Right.
When you initially download, it probably will take a month or two.
Oh yeah.
Of keeping your computer on. Then
download or upload? Upload is usually slower than download.
Upload, yeah. You know, because I think the downside, if one of the downsides may be I need them and I want them and it takes a long time, I know services are saying, just send me a hard drive and I'll FedEx it out to you. Or, you know, the important part is to, you know, store them in a different place if you can. But certainly the cloud makes a hell of a lot of sense. And other than, I think you may be right on as far as all those hidden things. If you're not aware of any kind of data rates, you may get killed.
Well, the other thing was, who was that person who emailed the comment, Catherine, I think her name was?
Yes.
He had issues with just with putting things in the cloud, puts them out there. You know, the old kids put stuff on Facebook and they regret it.
Yeah, I know. There's always that thing, and I loved your response. I was going to put another one. I didn't see her initial one. I saw your response to her, but I loved your response and saying, well, well, I guess it's a real concern, but your option is you didn't use the word get off the grid, but that's you don't connect to the internet.
I noticed you didn't send it to everybody. That's why when I replied, I sent it to everybody. So
yeah.
And it included her comments.
No, that's good. That's good because, you know, but I don't know what you say. If you never want to go off the grid, you know, if we have a solar flare in 2020 or 2022, or whenever they're predicting that big one that's going to blow out our electric grids and everything like that, if it blows your computer, it's like, no, not if it was off and not if I'm not online. I don't know how practical that is, but I don't know. I still have issues with the video cameras left behind from the Democratic National Convention. So here goes the Fourth Amendment, you know? So, but it's a good point. My hope was if there was some good feedback, I'd go there. And there was only a few people here. One of the things in the article from Tim Gray was, it's great. I can proofread in front of everybody. He talked about a service that was inexpensive and called Backblaze and very fast, et cetera, et cetera. I was going to put this in an email and ask if people would have got their speeds, but I don't know. I don't know if I back wasn't there a horror show about 4 years ago where one of these, was it Railroad or something like that? Hank, do you remember the name of the company that just shut down on a Friday? They let everybody know that
there's more than one. I mean,
more than one, right?
You know, if it's a major one and DP Review or somebody gets a hold of it, then they let everybody know. But
yeah,
I think one of the main professional photographers, like, I don't know, I can't think of his name now. It's something like 400 gigabytes of data stored on their servers.
Oh, God.
And he had like 3 days or something to
Yeah.
get him off of there.
You know, at that point, you take a plane someplace, you know what I mean? And go grab the guy by the throat while you're transferring over to your hard drive.
You'd have trouble just getting that kind of data. I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
UPC connection.
yeah.
You know,
Okay, well, you know, I didn't think it would be right for me to bring up all these questions without giving what at least what I thought. And I'm going to break it down even a little more as I go down. Who are you going to use? What service? And what are you going to store in the cloud? And how are you going to manage these files? And I think this is my list, and I'm about ready to add some things to it so we can all look at it. And I'd like to hear your thoughts afterwards. I'll come back to this. But in fact, if I had to say who, I would use Microsoft, what, selective files, not all of them, in using them DNGs, and Lightroom. So, and how did I arrive at that? It's just like anybody can put whatever they thought. But look what I did here. I took the who, the what, and the how.
Okay.
And I broke them down into some bullet points that I wanted to get up a graphic and have things fly around, but I said, well, let me just see if I have my flow here. Because ultimately, this is going to be a blog, and it may even be a video on my site. I don't know. Could be a course. I'm not sure. So who? I chose Microsoft, but I think the important thing is it should be a major player, huh? Who will be there? Amazon will be there for sure. I would take a guess. Google. Yeah. Adobe. I'm not sure. My son thinks Adobe storing 20 gigabytes is doing it on Amazon servers.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. And Hank, do you know this? I just for verification, I don't know it. But my son thinks that like Amazon, Microsoft, Google, they probably all have their own servers. But Adobe and Dropbox and certainly Backblaze, they're using Adobe services. They're not maintaining that. Would you think that's a fair statement?
I think that's a pretty fair statement. I think, you know, that's a major investment to put servers in that are going to do terabytes and, you know,
and backing up and redundancies, right. And, you know, it's, and it's not, you know, these three people are doing it not as an ancillary product. You know, they've got people just totally, this is all they do, you know.
That's a livelihood.
Yeah, that's it. So again, I
and not
think
for the average person. Most of that's for business.
Sure.
Trying to get business up there in the cloud.
Oh yeah. So I think even Adobe, who you know is huge, will be there. I don't know about Dropbox. I would doubt Backblaze may be there. But look, when you make a decision, I think the big question is who's going to be there, and that's one of them. And the cost, because now if you choose one of these, and maybe even Adobe, I mean, they're not bad, but what is the cost? And Hank, I took this from your email it was really helpful here because the storage cost, Adobe is charging $10 a month for 20 gigabytes. And if you need more, you can go $20 a month. But this starts getting very expensive, as you pointed out. You're talking about $375 a year or $31 a month. And I don't know what Amazon charges. I don't know if all Google Drives are free up to a limit, you know, if you know that. But on the Google Drives, I'm sure once you get over, like Dropbox, you get over, what is it, 2 gigabytes, 200 gigabytes?
A couple of gigabytes, yeah. We just got new Samsung tablets. and they're throwing in 100 gigabytes of Google's cloud
Sure.
storage
100 gigabytes of Google. That's
two-
terrific.
for 2 years.
For 2 years.
Yes, and after that, they don't talk about what they're going to charge if you want to extend it.
Sure. Well, I'll tell you what kind of drove me to Microsoft, because I have it. Number one, because I did buy Microsoft Microsoft Office, that home subscription. But what was really kind of interesting, it was a surprise to me because, Freddie, you may find this interesting. You can buy Microsoft and you get 1 terabyte for $69 a year, okay? Or you can pay $99 and you get 5 terabytes of storage because you can have 5 people sharing a terabyte apiece. So my 2 granddaughters and Charlotte are on my $99 a year Microsoft Office.
Well, that's pretty good.
But yeah, she goes up on, to Andover, she's going to buy Office, she's going to buy this and say, well, look you certainly want to have all your work on a cloud because the computer you have now is not the computer you're going to have 3 years from now. And God knows, changing programs is a pain in the neck, but tracking data and everything. So she's been using one of my 5, and quite honestly, if we ever had tremendous amounts, I could jump in on Charlotte's and Hannah and Amanda's 1 terabyte. They're not even close to this, right? So that's it. And so that becomes really reasonable. And if I look at it a different way, I say, oh, not only do you get 5 terabytes for $99 a year, you have the suite of Microsoft Office. Okay. And you can give it to your friends or your family. So I'm sure when you're, grandchildren and whatever it is. So that's how I came to Microsoft Office.
Do they actually fence you in with that 5 terabyte? You have 5 people and each one's allocated 1?
Absolutely.
One person can't use 3 and the other 4 people can't split the other 2?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how that works, but I do know that you get 5 people who can have 5 terabytes.
Total.
Yeah, total. But you know what? I'm trying to think about, what I need to put up here? Because I talked about how many files I have in my drive, but I'm going to show an Explorer, and I'm still on a 2 terabyte drive. So these are all my photos here. And if I go for properties, now this is probably looking up on that's on my C drive. On my X drive, I have, my X drive not plugged in? But anyways, I'm pinned on my 2 terabyte drive. So, if I uploaded them all, but like I say, I think I'm only going to upload 1%. So, just answering that one and what to store on the cloud. Now, I've got a definite idea today, but my mind is malleable. But I'm pretty sure that, what to store in a cloud is selective files. You're not going to store your whole database just because of time and this. And I'm thinking of what kind of files need to be stored. Do you save the JPEGs? Do you save the Photoshop? The fact that Photoshop 7 files do not open up in Photoshop CC, that's when you had a maximum. I mean, even Adobe bailed out on their PSD files. And made changes, and I was told that PSD is a kind of a glorified TIFF file, but there's something nice about the DNG besides, I'm going to put that first, besides the fact that it's recommended by, that DP Best Flow, that site. Have you heard of that site, Freddie?
No.
This was put out by ASMP in the government.
Yes, I do. Okay, I remember.
Yeah,
you
that's the
talked
one,
about
right? And they
Yeah.
recommend storage being optical. I'm going to have that in the blog post. But you know, they say, yeah, you got to store off site and you got to store optically. And I know they've updated it. I got to do some reading and seeing what they say about the cloud. But the DNG, you know, it's all self-contained. Now the question is, will DNGs be around? But it seems to me that the fact that if in fact your entire image, your processing, your keywords, everything is contained in that file, and maybe you can speak to this, Hank, but they had some M5 redundancy checking. I don't know what it was, but it says if there is data missing, it tries to attempt to, you know, repair. And
Yeah.
you know what that is? Have you heard of that?
Yeah, to some degree they can repair data files where they're missing different pieces, but you know, it's not going to take a
Pretty esoteric, yeah.
file and really fix everything. It's just,
Yeah, pretty esoteric. You know, I'm glad I brought up, and I probably will never I won't forget to bring up that story about my great grandfather and my grandfather and the Bernoulli cartridge that I can't get the file off of.
you have to be a Bernoulli player. Your Bernoulli device you recorded it on.
Yes, I know. They were 20 megabyte, 5 1/4 inch plastic cartridges that you can't even find one. But yes, I'll check that out. But what's interesting, it was a TIFF file in 1985.
What year was that?
1985.
85.
85, 86, the Targa boards, they were saving in TIFF at that time. And TIFF is still there. I was told, like I say, PSD is a TIFF file. But so the repairing is an extra bonus, but I like the fact that it's self-contained. And if you want, you could also put in an image inside there. So should everything else fail, you have that. So I thought the DNG made sense. And then this certainly makes sense to me. I'm not putting them all up, you know. Then it goes back to how do you manage those files, and I'll get to those in a second. How much space do we need? This, again, Hank, you were nice enough to put this in the email, and I copied it in red here. You know, I put the estimated amounts, but your comments was one cannot put all their images in the cloud. 20 gigabytes equals about 40 megabyte, 400 times 50 megabytes, and then 1 terabyte. So here's the math. You know, the reason why I have 130,000 and I still don't have more than 2 terabytes is some of those were 1992, 1988 Mavica shots from Sony Mavica. And, you know, our wonderful Olympus UZ, the 2100 UZ, it was 1200 by 800, and the 12 it was 2 megapixels. So, you know, they're all not that huge, and they were all JPEG. Another reason for the selective files certainly is the upload. And you talked about upload times and how long it would take. It seems impractical. And matter of fact, in I think Tim Gray's, he talked about 3 months so of upload. And I'm going to run this again. I don't know if you saw this, Hank, but I did this with Freddie. And if you have any input into this, this is what I'm currently running now. This is wireless. And I'll tell you what, when I put my cable in there, it got, I think, a little slower. But this is my wireless. I don't know if you can explain it to both Freddie and I, but you know, it has, I was up to 233. I don't know if it's the time of the day it gets slow or whatever it is. So that's pretty slow. I was 230 something before. But I'm using my Connection 5. You know, it has the modem that has 3 different speeds. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so this is a pretty broad band, but it seems no matter what I do, I'm between 10, 11, and 12 megabytes per second upload. So, it seems really impractical from anybody's home to upload these things.
Yeah, that's one of the things. I don't know. FiOS offers this identical speeds. Whatever you buy from them, download, they'll give you an upload.
Yeah, but what is it? Is it 50 megabytes? You know what it is?
Mine is 50. They want to double it for another $10 a month, and I don't really need it. So
yeah. All right. So I think maybe we may agree that maybe just selective files, and how do we manage these files? And I chose Lightroom, and because
so you're going to keep it in a separate folder.
No, I hear now. Follow this, because this should be pretty exciting to me, because it was the way that I was thinking about this all along, and I just started to introduce this. You extract what you wanted, and I'm going to put here portfolio files. And of course, the portfolio files would be either your great shots or your family shots, whatever you're deeming as portfolio. And however you do it, whether you use Lightroom keywords, flags, ratings, at some way, if you'll want to put files up on the cloud, you're going to have to drag them to a folder. Which ones you drag to that folder, it's going to take you a lot of time. Utilizing Lightroom to go ahead and, whatever system, Freddie, because you and I have different systems, but at least in our mind, we have them we have them a system to do this. So we can utilize the words, the keyword, whatever kind of rating system we have, and extract, that's not the right word, but cherry pick, but just select, that. And here is the real interesting thing.
So, okay, go ahead.
Okay, so now that we have either a collection or found our way out, we can publish. And do you publish to SmugMug, Freddie?
Sometimes, yeah, I do. Not often, but I do.
Okay, all right. Well, no, this is important. The concept is important. So if I go to SmugMug and I go to grandchildren, because this is in the publish.
Yeah.
The Lightroom publish. Over here, the publish services. So if I go here and I have the grandkids and was this the right? And all I have to do is right mouse click this and say, show me on SmugMug where it is. And it goes up to SmugMug. And the thing with SmugMug is that if changes are made up here and someone says, I love the picture, that also comes back into Lightroom, because it's doing this handshake. So comments come back and forth. But one of the nice things about the publish thing is, if I was to go and take this image, it looks like it's, why is my X drive not online here? Let me see something. Well, it seems to be offline. Although for the life of me, that's a little more concerning than, I am going to pull this out and push it back in. I don't know why it wouldn't be online. However, assume that it was online, and we know this enough. That's another thing I should have checked for before I started. Any changes you make to a published collection, and will show up, and it'll tell you, you made changes. So let me just do right, because if I was to go here into the recital and make this the targeted collection, and if I do that right, it has that little plus beside it because it's targeted. So I'll take something local like Mandy's star, I'll take this one, and if I post it and it says added to the target collection,
Yeah, sure.
you know, it's there. However, two things happen there. When I go to, and wait till you see, because you're going to be able to publish to the cloud is where I'm heading. This says, this hasn't been published yet. Well, then publish it. And when it publishes, it'll go up online and put it there. And when I go ahead and make a change to this picture at any time, it goes up and it's ready to be published again. Okay, so now that's all the way up there. And, you know, if I refresh this, it's already been published. Now, I want you to hang here. I hope I'm saying things that you're very aware of, because I'm going to show you how we can publish to the cloud like this. If I go here to this photograph and say, show me where it is in the folder, God knows I don't even know. Go to the folder in the library. I'm going to do something very simple here so I can undo it. I'm just going to go ahead, quick develop, and I'm going to go and make it black and white. I'm just going to hit the letter V. It makes it into a black and white.
Okay.
And I'm going to go here, and of course, somewhere along here, it's going to say, hey, this photo's been modified. Yes, I know, and publish that modification. So the power of Lightroom for making collections will help us isolate us, will select the photos. The publishing feature not only can go to SmugMug, but it can go to hard drives. Okay? So you can pick a hard drive and publish to a hard drive. Now, this is my cloud, and this is Adobe. So watch this here. If I go to this, when I go here to the Creative Cloud files, which is the 20 megabytes that you get. So what Adobe does, it's under user. You don't really have to know where it is, but the fact that it's there. Under Bob DiNatale, this Creative Cloud is there. And here is where high-res family, you can go here and actually put in different folders, however you want, and whenever those are changed. Now, the thing is that this file, this folder, is being watched by Adobe. So anything that I publish to that folder, Adobe takes and puts on the cloud. So right now, if I right mouse click and do what I usually do, if I found this, I could go here and I could right mouse click and say, give me the properties, and right off the bat, I'll know that I have 340 megabytes and 33 files. And you can make as many of these hard drives as you want. And look what I have here. I have the hard drive going to one of the things when I set it up, it says, what do you want to call it? Call it the cloud, just like this is the cloud. But instead of the Adobe's 20 gigabytes, it was the OneDrive's 1 terabyte. And that exists. This goes in, matter of fact, if I double click it, I think it opens up and shows you where it is. See, it's in Bob D. uses OneDrive portfolio. So what happens is this, and this is the thing, when I go to the OneDrive, come on, OneDrive.
Now, Bob, is a full resolution images going up through Adobe?
Well, watch this. Watch this. Yeah. Full resolution. Look at this.
That's not what it says on Adobe's site.
Yeah, that's.
Well, it doesn't matter. Well, then let's find that out. Because if Adobe doesn't put full res up there, then it's a good reason not to use Adobe. Because look at this. Look what I tried. Here is, I just took them and I exported them. And some were DNGs, some were ORFs, some were TIFFs, some were here. And just let me, and inside here, I changed this to say output them is DNGs. So in the Lightroom publisher to this hard drive, you can state, do you want them all as JPEGs? Do you want them as PSD? So by putting them as a DNG, with a medium-sized preview, if you want to put a full-size preview, the worst case is you're going to be able to extract your JPEG. I don't know. I'm still learning here. But what became obvious to me was, oh my God, I can use my database, Lightroom, that has features like portfolio keyword, or whenever I want something to say portfolio, because I can make this be a smart. You see this? This is a smart publish. It says if the keyword says portfolio, put it in here. And now when I upload it, if I give it the information to say, do it as a DNG with a profile, everything gets homogenized. Anytime I change this, change one of these pictures, it warns me, and I publish it, and I can get these online. And you know what? I'm pretty sure, guys, does everybody know how to get their pictures from Adobe? Because I said, how do I publish to Adobe? If I went to adobe.com, and here, you're going to see this. Matter of fact, this may answer the question. If I go ahead and sign in, these are my Lightroom photos. You can sign in. This is your, I go to the Lightroom photos here. And this is going to mirror. This is going to mirror what's in, there's a way to do this by files or folders. What is this? I may be pressing something I don't want to do. But these are, oh, albums? No, not albums, A to Z. What is this? Black and white, is that by date? All photos? Dashboard. One of them shows me, it may be here. It may say manage my, but all the DNGs are up there. I'm going to go back here. I think that I touch my face, and it says manage the account. No, I think I saw it. Now it's not going to go back. I'm going to have to sign in because it thinks I want to manage it. It said your cloud photos. Oh, is that it? Did I get it? So if I go back to this menu, Creative Cloud, hang on. I didn't plan to go here, but I'm feeling pretty comfortable because it's both of us. It shows the folders: marketing, creative design, search. I'm going to go back here, manage my account. I'm looking for this black screen. Do you see anything here that says folders, pictures, edit, payment, download, desktop, manage account? Oh, goodness me. Profile, communications account, overview. I need to find that black screen again. Products and plans, Creative Cloud, auto history. I'm looking for this. I'm looking. Well, yeah, you know.
I went to Adobe's support page. Lightroom Desktop doesn't upload to cloud in full resolution. Photos exported.
No, I don't think it. I don't think it does. I don't think it does. Wait a minute. Here it is. Desktop, cloud, mobile add-ons, cloud apps, mobile library. My library. Library is empty. I'm going to see if it'll let me go back. You know, but I think I think Lightroom will not, Creative Cloud Files, that's the one I was looking for. Which one would it be? Look at it, family DNGs. These are all full DNG files.
What's the size on them?
If I say copy or move.
No information. Yeah, that's weird.
You write.
No, inspect. I would think, that was, I'm sure they're full. They're not making them. They don't know the difference, Hank, between when I sent them up here or when I sent them up here. On the family photos, I'm guessing this will allow me to send a link, share, move, copy. I don't know if I want to archive. How do I download them? Can I download these? Mobile creation, shared. Because I can share them with other people. You know, you can give someone a link and they can go and look at all of these. I'm going to go back here, my assets. Look at, Hank, I'll look into that. I don't, you know, or else I could take 30 minutes here and then, well, everybody will go to sleep. I will do this because look at this. All I'm doing is taking my file through Lightroom and say, you take this, you turn it into a DNG and put it into this folder. And when it goes into that folder, there are the DNGs and here are the file sizes. And this one here, the one that's under Users Bob, this is the Creative Cloud. I can be outside a portfolio and just copy anything there. It's just file management. If I go to my downloads, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to go to my downloads and I can take this file here. Doesn't matter what size. Let's see.
Excuse me, Bob.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to leave the meeting. I got a bunch of phone calls I have to make before 9.
Okay. All right. So I'm just wrapping it up here, but look at, see, this is the Nick collection, the download of the Nick collection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to put it here and Microsoft is going to put it up in its file. So it doesn't matter how they get in there. I'm just using Lightroom to cherry pick and convert to a DNG. And if I make a change, if I make a change, the publishing function tells me the change is there, and I update it, and it's updated in the cloud. So, Freddie, that's about the end of it. You can make some notes, or we can talk about it, or maybe talk about it. I'll spend a minute, maybe a few minutes, and close it up with Hank.
Okay.
But you get that full circle thing. Lightroom, you want to publish to the hard drive and just point it towards your Google Drive.
Yeah, this is a new concept to me.
No, it's a new concept to everybody, I'll tell you. It's a new concept to a lot of people, and I'm trying to poke holes in it. You know, that's why I did this, and that's why I want to, had to have a group here, and so I've been working at in chasing things down. So as I find more, but this concept is pretty exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I gotta go. Sorry.
Okay. All right. That's all right. You can. You want to sign yourself out, or you can do that.
Okay.
And,
Bye, Hank.
Hi, Freddie.
okay. Pretty interesting, huh, Hank?
Yeah.
I mean, how else do you cherry pick? If someone says, you know, and I'm not gonna go into a pissing contest between Lightroom and, you know, and not Lightroom or whatever. But if someone says, you know, it processes the one, there was a guy who had this video. Everybody has videos of the option for Lightroom because, boy, they pissed a lot of people off, didn't they, by withdrawing that perpetual copy. And if someone says you capture one, there is this one guy called Peter Gregg or something like that, and he had a 30-minute, and he was talking. He never mentioned on one, but he mentioned capture one and those things, but it was pretty amazing because none of them had, like a lot of database power. So if there's another software like On1 that can do layers and has much better luminance masking, because their luminance masking looks very, very wonderful, but to just be able to go into publish or do a slideshow or a book, if nobody uses those things, then maybe you should consider CC, except if people print and want to color manage their printing, no one's going to use Lightroom CC. But some of the other features here are pretty powerful. You see, can you see any flaws or any questions you can think of now, or you just send me a list? I mean, I've been doing this for about a week and a half, and it's just like, wow. Yeah, it's got me excited about just going and putting portfolio images there.
Yeah, my only issue was with when you go into the publish, does Lightroom do something different than just going straight to the cloud? Because the publish may put another layer on top of it that says...
I don't think so, Hank, and I'll tell you why. Because you could do this. I think you can go and just put the original in. See that?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like if you were to export this, and I'm going to cancel this, it's just like taking this image and exporting it through the export function, right? And it's giving you all the same switches to go ahead and if you get this and you just hit export, you get it's the same dialog box.
Yeah.
And if push came to shove, and you say those son of a bitches are downsizing or they're destroying it, if you went to this, show me here, and it's going to show you where it is, then just drag it to, Microsoft doesn't care, and Google doesn't care,
right.
And so what I was doing over here, what you see over here, Hank, and some of my testing that you maybe will be able to appreciate, and I'm not sure everybody will, but it's the way I kind of try to prove it. I go here, I go to that family published collection, and I export it with the original. And it does this. When I go and change that major box and say put it in the full, it does the exact same things, because as you can see, and I think the nice thing about it is, it's just taking 2 megabyte JPEG files, right? And they're making 2 megabyte JPEG files into a RAW. It's taking the XMP and putting the XMP inside the DNG.
Yep.
Boy, I want people to blow holes in this, because I'll try to find some workarounds, but I've been playing with this now for 2 weeks, and I'm saying, I have 5 terabytes for $99. I could go up and sign into my granddaughter's site and use her storage if I needed to, you know what I mean? She's not, but who's going to want that? And I thought of this long time ago, and putting it on internal hard drives, and then trying to put it on optical. But I bailed out of it, saying, at best, I'm going to put 8 gigabytes. Is that what it is on high density DVDs? 8 gigabytes now?
A Blu-ray.
On the Blu-ray?
Yeah.
And how long does that take?
Yeah.
It's like, and
everybody's saying you got to go magnetic. That's the only thing.
It's magnetic or the cloud, right?
Yeah.
It's where it's at. So I'm guessing the cloud is magnetic, and they have redundancy.
That's it. That's all it is. It's millions and millions of cheap hard drives.
Yeah, and one of the things, I mean, I don't know if we're ever going to get around Equifax and Yahoo, like you referenced, but, you know, it pissed me off if someone looked into my Cuba photos, but as long as my Cuba photos were there, if someone hacked into them, you know, who's going to hack into them? You know, Donald Trump, George Bush, they're going to say, they're going to take me away because I snuck into Cuba. I'm not worried about that. So, and when my son, you know, is a big believer in Amazon services, he said, Dad, you know, you also could look at it. If Amazon blows up, we're all screwed on many other levels. So just, you know, if Amazon goes down, you don't even know what your Citizens Bank account may not work anymore.
Yeah.
And so, but it's pretty interesting. And I try to go down this little funnel, you know, that says, what are the most important things? Heck, you know what I'm going to do? Is I'm going to send you these pages. Okay, so at your leisure or something like that, I'll send them to you as a PDF in a Word document. So you saw me make changes here, right? If you want to put your colors different and think about this and saying, hey, Bob, I can add 4 more bullets over here. You know, you can add 4 more bullets, and if you don't have the answer, I don't even think that's important. You know, if we have the questions, then, you know, just so, again, no pressure to do anything with it, but I know you have a fertile mind. If I send you this document, take a look at it, you know, if you can blow some holes in it or raise some questions that I needed to find further, but because, you know, the what, when, and how is so, you know, who, what, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting. You want me to send these to you, these notes?
Yeah, take a look at them.
Yeah, take a look at them. And yeah, you can't help yourself. You're going to look at them and you're going to have 14 more thoughts. And they're all so very logical to me. So I'm just going to copy those 2 pages, save it on a Word doc, and throw it over to you before I go down and watch the Celtics.
Yes, I got to go too.
All right, buddy. Take care.
Hey.
Thanks a lot. I'm going to bail out of the whole meeting, and you'll find this in your email soon. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.